We should be live here. Everybody, I'm joined today by Nicole Campbell. This is Kevin Daisy, of course. So Nicole, welcome and thanks for coming on board.
Thank you, Kevin, so much. I've been looking forward to this for so long, so I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, definitely. So I have a few things to cover today. Obviously, me and Nicole are going to talk about specifically LinkedIn, but the content and how that works for her and what I've seen that she's done that I think has been unique. I'm also here to chime in on similar things that I do. So we'll take questions. Make sure you guys ask questions along the way regarding content and LinkedIn. And then I got a couple of other announcements that I'll make as well throughout, and we'll answer your questions as they come in. So first off, Nicole, I want to welcome you on the 1-year anniversary of LinkedIn Live. So we've been doing this for 1 year, and it was kind of funny. Shannon with our team noticed that yesterday, and she was like, "Oh, we've been doing this for a whole year," and so pretty cool that we've been doing this for a year every single Friday, and we're always looking for good guests to have on. So if you're interested in being a guest, reach out to us. And happy 1 year to me and my team. And Nicole, thanks for joining us on the 1 year. We'll have champagne next time, I guess.
Yeah, and congratulations, because I know I hear from people all the time that actually even getting to 20 of these things would be a feat. So good job.
Well, yeah, just like with anything. So we're going to talk about content here in a second, and some of the things that you do and how you engage with people. It's consistency that wins the day. It's being there all the time. It's not automated. It's about being consistent. So people know that we do this every Friday. Now we change it up with the guest and the host to kind of make it fresh, hopefully. But it's hard. It's a lot of work, and we always have to have guests lined up, and we have to have all these things ready to go, and we got to pay for the software that we're using right here. So it takes a lot of work, and you got to look at the payoff, and it's going to take time, just like anything else. So I appreciate that. So I guess just to jump into a couple of things I have for you. Again, everyone, if you're watching, ask questions. We're going to get to them here in a bit. The hardest questions you have for Nicole, very technical, very challenging ones.
Yes, please.
She's ready to answer. So I first learned about Nicole by literally just seeing her content on LinkedIn. And otherwise, me and Nicole have probably never really talked or even got on a video call together. But I feel like I know her because I see her videos, I see her content, and I would comment on her stuff. She comments on my stuff, but we had never actually met. And so I think that's really the powerful thing here, and the goal for getting involved in social media for your business is that you can accomplish that. And nothing is better when I have a client tell me that they found us through engaging for a long time through social media or through content, and then now they're a customer. And that's exactly what we're trying to accomplish, as well as help people and put out helpful content always. So Nicole, give me, I guess, a little bit about your experience with LinkedIn. Again, that's where I found you and where I've seen you. I've seen you do videos consistently. But tell us, I guess, a little bit about what you do, what your routine looks like maybe, and then we can get into some other questions as well.
Okay. So I'm a commercial real estate agent, and my routine is basically kind of documenting my day. There's a lot of stuff that happens. It's different every day. There's a lot of questions that come up from clients that I'm working with customers who call in with questions that I think, well, if one person has that question, other people probably have that question as well. I kind of write that stuff down. And then if I'm in the mood for putting myself on camera, I do that, and I'll answer questions that way on video. Or if I'm out at a property and I see something interesting, then I make sure and document that, usually with pictures or a video. And so for commercial real estate, because we've historically in this type of industry kind of shied away from putting everything out there. And if you look at a commercial real estate listing, a lot of times it'll have one picture of the exterior of the building and that's it. So I wanted to do something different because I knew that people were looking for information beyond that exterior photo. They needed to see the inside of the property. They needed to have more details about what was in that office space. And so knowing that people were looking for that information, I wanted to dive in. And so anytime I'm out and about, I try to put that information together and put it out on LinkedIn, because that's where a lot of business owners are. And traditionally, business owners are the one who they're going to be looking for office space, for that commercial space.
Yeah, so that's a lot of those I've seen. You'll be on your cell phone, you'll be walking through the space, showing the. I always thought you were very good too with, you know, your business, and you know commercial space. So you always were very good about pointing out details, and also making it, having a vision for the space, and if it had high ceilings or if it had different things that most people wouldn't normally kind of get into, but those are the things that I think would work and intrigue someone that's looking for a space, not just like, hey, look at the space, looks cool.
Yeah.
So I guess some of the stuff was very technical too, which is a little bit beyond me, of like what this means. Or I think there was one that had like I don't know what you call it. It's like a shared space in the front, and then you had the other spaces available as well. So some of the stuff I was like, I don't know what that is, but I was learning along the way.
Well, next time ask me questions, that'll give me more content. That's usually what I find is, like I said, people will call and they'll ask questions because they are startup. They're new to looking for commercial space. And so sometimes I'll find myself speaking in that lingo that I understand and other brokers understand. And then they'll stop me and say, okay, wait a second, what is TI? Okay, let me back up. And so getting that type of feedback is kind of what it keeps that content moving along.
I'll be sure to ask more questions.
Do that
next time. But yeah, so we have a space, and Eric, actually my business partner, he really went through the challenge of getting it built out, and the options you have and all those things, and so yeah, there's a lot that goes into a space when you move into it. So I just think the way you've done those videos and explaining, and really I think more creating a vision for it could be your space, and what that means, and what the different things that you could do with it makes it engaging. So anyway, I think the videos are great, and I don't see a lot of other people doing it. And I would say I'm connected to a lot of commercial real estate people or other real estate professionals as well. And so I just think like you stand out when it comes to that. As far as actually, I guess, beyond that, so you put out a post, right? You put out a video, and then sometimes we just sit back and wait, or we go check our LinkedIn once a day and we see if anyone commented. But when it comes to the engagement part, tell us about a little bit, maybe things that you do to engage with people that comment, or to try to get that post to, maybe have more legs and get more views.
That's a great question. And this actually just happened 2 days, maybe actually the beginning of the week. I posted something that I kind of had an answer to, but I wanted to get engagement from the other super smart people that I'm connected with on LinkedIn, because I knew that the value that people would find in the post wasn't going to be just me spouting off what I know, but it was going to be in the comments with all these other industry leaders, these experts in this field. So getting that conversation going, I don't tag a bunch of people in anything. I put out a question or I put out a comment. And once one person engages, then I'm able to say from that comment, yeah, that's a great point. Let's dig more into that. Maybe somebody else in this other area can comment as well. And it just kind of keeps going from there. I'm on LinkedIn probably, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 times a day. I'm on quite a bit. So anytime I see that I have a notification, I try to engage right away. I don't want to lose anybody because I didn't respond to their comment. I always respond to comments. And then I go out and I look for other, again, industry leaders who are maybe not in my field. Maybe they're in construction, roofing, electricians, HVAC people, because those are important people in the commercial real estate world. And so I want to see, what are they saying? What can I gain from them as far as the information they're putting out? I ask a lot of questions of those folks because I really don't know, but I want to know. I want to know more, because the more I know, the more I can help my clients. And it's not that I can say, oh, I know all this information because I heard it from so-and-so. It's, I've heard all this information from this person who is an expert. You should go talk to them. So that growing that network that way by engaging on other people's posts and commenting and asking good questions, and then making sure that I ask follow-up questions in the comments and kind of keep it going from there. So it takes a lot of work. It's not something that you just sit back and wait for things to happen.
Yeah, and honestly, I could do better there as far as, going on to other people's posts more often and connecting with them that way. It just takes time, and you have to have, I guess, to have a routine, to have a plan, and not just to, do it haphazardly. I guess definitely helps out. So everyone listening, again, got any questions for Nicole or me? Again, Nicole's in commercial real estate, so I think right now, commercial real estate, it's, there's some things that you have to deal with differently. You have to stand out. You got COVID, and how that's impacted you guys. I wanted to kind of ask you about how that's maybe changed your content, or changed your what your focus is, maybe what the impacts of that have been, and and how you've kind of really, I guess, met that head on.
Well, luckily I had already been on LinkedIn and was already consistent, and people knew who I was. And so as soon as people started working from home and living on the internet and living virtually, I was already there. So that was fantastic. And then from there, I talked about, market updates, what I was seeing, what I was feeling, because that's an important part of it too, is that I'm authentic. And like you said, you feel like you know me because I am just myself. I don't try to, be anything that I'm not. If I was feeling a certain way, I put that out there. Nothing too crazy, but I just wanted people to know that it's not all rainbows and sunshine, and let's not pretend like it is, and, make things real. So I just kept up with that. We started trying to do some virtual stuff. It was interesting because typically we do tours in person. A property tour would be, somebody shows up and they want to see the space. And so we did all these videos and we put those out on YouTube, and we'd send them along to people who were interested, and they'd see that and then they'd say, okay, let's go see it in person now. So we tried to change our strategy a little bit there for that wasn't necessarily social media, but the YouTube videos, I think, just ended up helping people get through the door anyway.
Nice.
But think of what else I did that was
Well,
a little bit
you mentioned something that I think I can add to it.
Sure.
You mentioned being yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got Instagram, where everything's perfect and the photos are just the best ones you can find. But on LinkedIn, one of the best videos that I saw you did was, it was like a collage of all your mess ups of your recording. So you're like, hey, this is crap, and there's a dog in the background, or some noise, and so for the people watching, Nicole put together basically a bunch of clips of all the videos that she had started to do and then screwed up, so she stopped recording. And so she put all those together and was like, hey, this not always perfect, and she shared that. And I assume that probably got a lot of engagement and a lot of views, but
It did.
I thought that was awesome. And I was like, I ain't doing that. There's no way. Although I probably have tons of those.
And what's funny is that I don't know. I don't know why I did that to begin with. Honestly, it was just one of those things where I thought, well, this is making me laugh looking back at this. So if it's going to make other people laugh too. And I think just showing my personality, because the big part about it is, yes, engaging's good, but at the end of the day, it's about gaining customers and clients and friends. And so if they see me and like me because I'm myself and I'm a little quirky or weird or awkward or whatever the case, whatever somebody thinks, but they just want to continue that relationship on a customer level, then they know me, they've seen me, and they know what they're getting, basically, right? So yes, I'm really good at what I do, but I'm a human being, and so you can't please everybody. Not everybody's going to work with you.
We've had a bunch of people say hello, good afternoon, all, howdy, what's going on?
My Texas
So
people.
thanks for everyone to jumping in. And then, of course, my good friend Elizabeth Duncan Hawker. She said, hi guys, Red Hawk loves those in real estate industry. And then she's got a question for us as well.
Yay.
If you look down on your screen, Nicole, you'll see the question. So Elizabeth says, do you feel Facebook audience really wants to see a realtor posting another house they sold post? I got my own thoughts, but Nicole, what you got?
Well, so first, I'll say I'm removed from that because I'm not a realtor, and so I don't want to judge what other people are doing. And so maybe that works for those folks. Residential is a little bit different than commercial. I do celebrate my wins, so I could see where people want to put out there the wins that they've had. Right now in this market, I'm seeing that everybody's selling everything, so it's not any different than what other people are doing. But I think it comes back to that. Like, is what you're posting something different than what other people are posting? And how are you making that house that I sold different somehow? What's the story? How did that happen? Like, was there something crazy that went on to be able to get to the closing table? I'd like to learn more about that than here's the picture of the house and the people that bought it. That's
sure. And I think it's just a lot of people in real estate, that's just common what they do. So there's a lot of it. And you see that often. Whereas like, I don't know, marketing agency, and we share wins. I share wins at least once a week. I have that kind of in my schedule of, now that could be a new employee hire. It could be, so it's not just the same thing over and over again. Where in real estate, it's kind of like we're selling houses. So that's our win.
right.
And I think they need to start, think outside the box. What else could there be where, hey, I had to help a client with this very unique situation for this property. And here's what we did to accomplish it together, and we're happy for them.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can share the bad things. Hey, here's the pros and here's the cons of trying to do a short sale. Or, we almost got these people in this property, but it fell through because of this, and I couldn't do anything to help. And this, share the fails, not just the wins. And I think people will relate with you more on that. But, and then you can sprinkle in some wins, but not just that's it. And so I think people are they see that so much, they're kind of tired of it, especially when it comes to real estate. But for I'm wearing Cap Center hat. So, and I have plenty of real estate friends, plenty of mortgage friends. So sorry, but Cap Center, I got some good friends over there. I've bought and refinanced a few properties through them. And they had to help me with some unique stuff that, I was just amazed with some of the process, and they gave me a bunch of hats, of course, so I'm representing. But I feel like there's a lot more you can pull out of that than just, hey, we closed on a house. Next, who else needs a house? And you just got to get outside the box and document. I think that's the biggest thing you said. Gary Vee says that too, right? It's don't create content, just document. And so you said that in the beginning, you're basically just documenting your day. Like, you're already doing stuff. You're already helping people or working on projects. Just document what you're doing. And then there's all your content.
Yeah. And so when because I haven't been in commercial real estate my entire life. So I think that's where I'm also coming into it with a fresh set of eyes, doing things differently. But I didn't have a network already built in. I'm not from the area originally. So last year, I knew I needed to get my name out there faster than I could by just going to networking events and trying to meet a couple people. So I hired a content coach because I knew the power of social media. And since I knew where my clients and customers were, and that was LinkedIn. So when I hired Nikki, she helped me figure out that part. Okay, yes, you document, but then who are you talking to? Who's your audience? Who do you want to reach? And how would you change that day by day? Like, if you have different types of people. So I have tenants that I would try to reach, landlords that I would try to reach, new business owners. And then what does that look like each day? And how do I talk to each of those folks so that I can tailor that message and that content towards those people? And what's interesting is that although I do put out a lot of informational, educational type things, usually the posts that get the most engagement on LinkedIn for me are more on the personal side, like talking about something that happened with my kids and how that relates to business, or just showing kind of what we're doing for the weekend and how that relates to the great cities that we live in here in Hampton Roads. So having all of those things and having a plan. So yes, document your day, but you could just also don't want to throw out things. You want to have sort of a set idea of what's going to happen whenever you do post, and then who that is supposed to reach.
Sure. I think really if you have a kind of maybe a guide for that, like what things are good to share, what things are not, and then that way you at least have a guide for when I'm going through my day, like I know that going to get a coffee or whatever, oh, I'm in Town Center, so now I can share something about that, and I'm in Town Center and how Town Center is awesome, and that could relate to having an office in Town Center, something like that. But have a little bit of guideline for yourself so that, something random that's off, maybe it doesn't fit, that you kind of stay away from posting certain things. So
exactly.
No, I love that. And I think you definitely need to put in some personal stuff. Like I know with my company, every day we have our team share a win. It doesn't have to be a win for you working in our business. It could be a win personally. It could be, something outside of our company. So I think you definitely need to share personal stuff, things that are happening in your real life. And that's when they really get to know who you are. If you stay so private and disconnected, and that's all you talk about is business, then they may not be interested to engage with you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that. Pro tip. Share personal stories and win.
Your employees, if you're a business owner, your employees are your biggest asset when it comes to this, because I rarely engage with a company's post. It's usually an employee there, and that's how I engaged with the company, is through that person. So you probably find that quite often too then, right? So they know you, and then they want to get in touch with Array because they know you from what you're posting.
Absolutely. So good point, right? 100%. Whenever we're talking to anybody about LinkedIn specifically, it's the personal page. It's the personal person, their brand, their account, not the business page. I've never really seen a business page get much engagement. You won't see them in your feed, really. I would say no one really cares as much. Now, you might want to keep your business page updated, maybe a post a week or something like that, but it's not really going to drive the real engagement. So it's look at who you employ and who may stand out, like a Nicole. So Divaris, they have Nicole. Nicole should be recognized for what she's doing. And they look at their other employees and say, hey, who else could be doing this for us? And make sure that it's part of their plan, that, hey, we would encourage you to do this and use LinkedIn. Look what Nicole has done. And you could do an internal workshop or show other employees what you're doing. But I mean, they should be thinking that, yeah, when I hire somebody, are they going to be someone that can do this for us and be that brand for themselves? But I think you need to look at that for sure. I know when we're hiring someone, regardless of what it is, I looked at LinkedIn right away. And if they don't have one or it's not up to date, then that's kind of a red flag. But for me, that's what I'm looking for, especially if they're in sales, that they can leverage that, because I think it's important. And not just rely on phone calls and emails. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Any more questions, you guys? Please put them in the comments for Nicole, and she will try to answer those. If not, we're going to mention a few other things, and then we'll wrap up. Nicole, anything new for you on LinkedIn? Are you using stories? That's a new thing. We just got it
Yes.
Friday. I think I've done like 3. I definitely need to do some right after this to use that more. But I've actually started to see people commenting and sending me messages from the stories that I'm putting out, and I've just barely started to use them. So you're using stories. If so, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing some behind the scenes stuff there too. So I think that because of the format is 20 seconds that you can do a video. And so just kind of clipping that together and putting behind the scenes stuff. Or like the other day, my dog was up on the bed with me. I was up early working and he was like there snuggling with me. So I put that on there because this is real life. This is what is happening right now with millions of other people working from home, and this is what it looks like for them too. So just kind of finding things like that. They're short and sweet, nothing that I think would be, a lot of purpose on the actual LinkedIn page, but maybe just some ancillary stuff. So it's been good. It's interesting.
Yeah, I think that's just the cool thing about stories. It's they can be raw, they can be unplanned almost. They can make it. I can just take one right now and be like, I'm on with Nicole on live. So it can be literally ad hoc and just the stuff behind the scenes, like you're saying, or oh, look what just happened here, or I'm stuck in traffic for the next hour, or whatever it may be. But I think that's that can be like those kind of little moments of real life, and where your posts and your videos, they're going to be a little bit more polished and thought through. So I'm happy that Stories has come to LinkedIn. If you guys haven't tried them out, it's on your mobile phone, your app only, I believe. And I'm not sure if everyone has those at this point or not, but it should be rolled out to everybody, I think.
I think they don't have a way to add music yet. Is that right? I haven't seen that. So when I add music, I
haven't seen that feature. I know I did a story 2 days ago. I was up at like 3:30 in the morning. And so at like 4 in the morning, I was like, well, I can't make a whole pot of coffee because by the time my wife gets up, it'll be, 3-4 hours old. So I was just using my little French press. And so I just did a little snapshot video of me pushing the thing down in the French press. And then later on, Shannon that works for us was like, hey, you missed an opportunity to put this sticker on there that asks something about what kind of coffee you like. And I was like, yeah, I'm still learning to have.
Yeah.
I'm a noob with the LinkedIn stories. So got a lot to learn.
Yeah, we all do. But I was looking to see if anybody had any questions about LinkedIn, but I wanted to mention real quickly. So I specialize in office leasing. And so if people have questions about that and what does the landscape look like right now for office leasing or purchasing office, there's a ton of office properties right now that people are putting on the market, not at like some desperation fire sale or anything, but they're like, you know what, this is probably a pretty good time to sell. And then other people on the other side of it are saying, yeah, I've been waiting for an opportunity. It's probably a good time to buy. So that's happening. So anybody looking at commercial investment, that is big time right now in Hampton Roads. And then office leasing in general, I've been working the entire time. People are still leasing offices. Landlords have not dropped off on the rental rates yet, but they have started offering a lot of free rent, things like that. So if you've been looking for an office, or if you thought you needed to put it off, now might be a good time to pick that search back up because there's a lot of incentives out there right now.
Good tip. All right. So anyone listening need commercial space, whether I guess that's leased or purchase, reach out to Nicole. I assume LinkedIn's a good place to hit you up.
Perfect place. Yes, that's where I am. Always.
All right. Well, we'll make sure we share that in the comments and make sure we link. We'll be sharing this as well, and we'll copy. Make sure Nicole is tagged. So please reach out to her for that. Other announcements. Again, it's our I was going to say 1 year. See, I got my guy behind the scenes here. It's our 1 year anniversary. So again, very excited about that of the Lunchtime Live. I see Eric laughing because I can see him. So maybe we'll celebrate big time next week. The team will be on. So Nicole, thanks for joining me on the 1 year. Other than that, the other news is we have our nonprofit giveaway. Cue the slide. Boom. See, look at that. Got my assistant behind the scenes hooking me up here. So we are doing a giveaway to a healthcare related nonprofit. You just used to be as 501c3. And we're going to give away a website that we're going to build from scratch, complete for you. We're also going to develop a digital marketing strategy for that nonprofit so they can effectively market, they can raise up the volunteerism and hopefully some donations. And we're taking applications until October 31st. We've already had quite a bit submit. So if you know of a healthcare nonprofit, either A, tell us about that and so we can reach out to them, or have them go to thisisarray.com/nonprofit. And they can just easily fill out the form. We just ask a couple questions and then we'll get them into the system. So we want to give back where we can. This year we decided that Healthcare made a lot of sense with COVID. And so we just want to be able to help those people that are on the front lines out the best that we can. So we do have someone that says they have a question here. Go ahead and ask your question, and then we'll sign off. And then Elizabeth says, great job, Nicole. Congrats, Kevin and team, on 1 year. Thank you, Elizabeth.
I want to hear from Taco Maniac.
I don't know. Taco Maniac 444. Last chance. We'll be signing off. If you have a question still, please put it in the comments. Nicole and I will go back through the comments and answer any questions we can in the comments. And if not, you guys have a great Friday. Have a good weekend. And we'll see you next Friday.